In 1867, Russia sold a piece of land twice the size of Texas for the equivalent of about $150 million in today's money, less than some single sports contracts. That land was Alaska. But that wasn't even the strangest deal that built the United States. Over the next century, America didn't just fight for its territory, it went shopping for it. Here's how 5 purchases turned 13 colonies into a continental superpower. By 1783, the United States was a narrow strip of land hugging the Atlantic coast. Within 150 years, it stretched from ocean to ocean, plus islands in the Caribbean. Almost none of that happened through war. It happened through checkbooks, desperate empires, and a few decisions historians still argue about today. In 1803, Napoleon Bonaparte needed cash, fast. France was gearing up for another war with Britain, and holding a distant, hard-to-defend colony in North America wasn't worth the cost anymore. So when the United States sent negotiators just to buy the port of New Orleans, Napoleon shocked them with a counteroffer. Take the entire Louisiana territory instead. 828,000 square miles for $15 million, roughly 4 cents an acre. Overnight, the United States doubled in size. President Thomas Jefferson wasn't even sure it was constitutional for him to make a deal like this. He did it anyway. A few decades later, the U.S. took a very different approach. After a brutal war with Mexico, the U.S. didn't just win territory, it paid for it too. The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, signed in 1848, handed over what's now California, Nevada, Utah, most of Arizona, and parts of 4 other states, for $15 million, plus millions more in Mexican debt the U.S. agreed to absorb. It's one of the most consequential land transfers in modern history, and most Americans have never heard the price tag attached to it. 5 years later, the U.S. went back for one more sliver of land, a strip of desert in southern Arizona and New Mexico, for $10 million. The reason wasn't gold or farmland. It was a flat enough route for a transcontinental railroad. By the 1860s, Russia had a problem. It controlled Alaska, but couldn't realistically defend it if Britain, which controlled neighboring Canada, decided to take it in a future war. Better to sell it to a friendly power than lose it for free. So on the night of March 29, 1867, Russian Minister Eduard de Stokel showed up at Secretary of State William Seward's house, in the middle of a card game, with an offer. Seward didn't wait until morning. The two men negotiated by candlelight until 4 a.m. and agreed on $7.2 million for over 500,000 square miles. Here's something that trips up even Russians today. A lot of people believe it was Catherine the Great who sold Alaska. She didn't. Catherine died in 1796, 71 years before the sale even happened. The Tsar who actually approved it was Alexander II. The mix-up got so ingrained in pop culture that a famous 1989 Russian rock song scolded her by name for a decision she never made. What critics at the time actually mocked was Seward himself. American newspapers called the deal Seward's Folly, and one paper put it more bluntly. Russia has sold us a sucked orange. Most people assumed he just paid a fortune for a frozen wasteland. 30 years later, gold was discovered in the Yukon. Decades after that, so was oil. The Folly turned out to be one of the best real estate deals in American history. The last major purchase almost never gets mentioned in American history class. In 1917, with German submarines prowling the Atlantic during World War I, the U.S. worried that Germany might seize Denmark's Caribbean colonies and use them as a naval base close to American shores. So the U.S. paid Denmark $25 million in gold for the Danish West Indies. Today, we know them as the U.S. Virgin Islands. Add it all up, and the United States spent roughly $75 million across 5 deals to build nearly a third of its current territory, a fraction of a percent of what that land is worth today. Wars get remembered. Purchases get forgotten. But some of the most important decisions in American history weren't made on a battlefield. They were made at a negotiating table, sometimes at 4 a.m, over a deal nobody was sure would pay off. If you want to see how the rest of the map came together, subscribe. Next week, we're covering the maps that quietly reshape how you see the entire world.